Now, we all know laughter is the best medicine. We're told, and we need as much as we can right now. But the experts in this, comedians, are up against lockdowns and other COVID-19 restrictions. So can we laugh about it? Is it a laughing matter, or is there perhaps a giggle in the darkness? Comedian Mojak Lehoko joining us to tell us about his recent mix of stand-up comedy. Mojak, it's a pleasure to have you on eNCA as well. And I think before we talk about just what you're busy with at the moment, I mean, can we, as I speak to a comedian, look back over the last, let's call it a year and a half, almost 2 years now? Is there something to laugh about? Is there a glimmer of laughter somewhere in all of this?
I mean, I think there definitely is. You know, COVID has been tough, but we've all done some bizarre things over the last 18 months or so. I'd like to bless everybody who's attempted to make banana bread, which for those of you who don't know is the scrambled eggs of baking. So shout out to you for just trying to survive these bizarre times. Yeah, I think we can definitely take a moment to have a laugh and look back at when we were bootlegging certain items because they were deemed illegal. It felt like the roaring 20s.
I deny everything. I don't know what you're talking about.
Me
but
neither.
I've heard people were.
I don't even know what WhatsApp is. What are you talking about? We're doing the Zoom via smoke signals.
So when you start looking at a world in the future where this COVID nonsense is behind us, I mean, is that helping you at least try and relate to your audience? Because they're going to turn to you, aren't they, Mojak, to try and have you lighten the mood? But is it easy for you to actually do it?
I mean, I think I've been doing stand-up and working on comedy for quite a while. It's not easy, but it is a fun kind of challenge. And we're all looking forward to kind of what happens after this pandemic is over, which will be very soon, the year 2035. So fingers crossed. But I'm actually kind of still looking forward to not shaking hands with people after all of this is over. You know, I don't trust a lot of people and their personal hygiene. But yeah, I think we're all looking forward to kind of working through this pandemic and what the world will be like after it.
And when it comes to performing, because obviously, like anybody who's used to having an audience, you know, a live studio audience at a club or a bar or wherever it might be, I mean, how difficult is that for you to try and get your material out there, but also get a reaction from the audience? I mean, emojis and thumbs up on your laptop screen can only take you so far, can't it?
Well, it's a bit tricky. You have to kind of get used to playing without seeing a response. In fact, this Zoom, as we speak, I'm looking at a blank screen. So I'm hoping you're having a good time in studio because I have no idea what's going on. But a lot of kind of working in this modern world is just doing your best and kind of hoping and praying it works out. The one joy I will say with being in a pandemic is that due to the limitations of how many people you can have in the venue, a lot of shows that normally wouldn't are selling out at the moment. So, you know, 12 seats, easy to sell that out. So that's one of the joys of working through a pandemic.
You got a full house every time that you do a live stream. I'm actually glad you can't see me on screen as well. I mean, I wouldn't want to ruin your Friday morning as well. So what's the kind of material that you come up with, though, in this? Because I suppose comedians and everyone who knows you knows that you push the boundary, you push the envelope a little bit. Since COVID hit and the pandemic hit, are there no-go areas that even Mojak Lehoko wouldn't go near?
I think with any kind of period or any time as a stand-up comedian, you do have to be kind of emotionally sensitive and aware of what people are going through around you. And for me, that's why a lot of my stand-up has always been about personal experiences. You know, hopefully people can relate to them as opposed to kind of making fun of what other people are going through. One of the things I have tried to do is working out during this pandemic. And that has been incredibly unsuccessful. I start a new workout regime every 3 months, and it lasts as long as that first session. So, you know, we try to keep it about ourselves. We're not trying to make fun of people too much. And, you know, you want things to be light. These are difficult times, and we don't want to have kind of too heavy topics going on at live shows.
But is there something that you just wouldn't go near, for example? I mean, comedians, as I said, everything seems to be pretty fair game, whether it's Zuma, whether it's the current president, whether it's politicians, which is always easy cannon fodder for comedians, as funny as it always is. But is there something you've written down in the last, say, year or so where you looked at it and gone, I don't think I can go with this one?
I think that the rule of comedy is always to punch up, and that's why we talk about politicians, because they're in, greater positions of power than we are. As soon as you're punching down with, at somebody who has a little bit less or is less fortunate, that's when it no longer has its humor. So in terms of, politicians, that's always fair game. Like when the president was checking vaccines at the airport like he was a temp worker at Discam. That was really bizarre. Like, I think it's fair game. And politicians are doing well. Like, they're not struggling. They've had jobs for the last however long, and they've got great offices, and they've got a driver. So, yeah, politicians always fair game. I think there are one or two kind of touchy subjects, that I try and avoid, but there's nothing I can think of at the moment.
Law and Order is trying to get hold of you, by the way. I see it's a very important call from Law and Order trying to get hold of you. Nice ringtone, by the way. Very quickly, Mojak, where can people see your stand-up comedy? I'm assuming you're not going to be so lazy as you are now and sitting down and talking to people. Stand-up comedy has to be the proverbial stand-up. Where are people going to find you?
Myself, Sean-Ray van Wyk, and Lindy Johnson are playing in a show at the Bioscope. That's from the 9th to the 11th of September. It's called Talk That Expletive, that I can't say on television, but it's from the 9th to the 11th of September. Tickets are available at thebioscope.co.za. It's a mixture of stand-up comedy, a little bit of improv. We chat to the audience. Of course, due to COVID, we have limited seats to ensure everyone's safety. We implore everyone to keep wearing a mask, socially distancing, and of course, sanitizing during the course of the day. And at the show, we're going to try to keep it tidy and safe for everybody.
Yeah, and that's the way we've got to do it. But at least we're keeping the entertainment industries going, and you're leading as well. Mojak Lehoko, thank you very much. Must be weird to stand there, watch people laughing, but you can't see their smiles and their teeth, as he puts the mask on, as he should do as well. What a pleasure.
This is
Mojak,
what it feels like.
that's what it feels like. I can't even see you laughing. You got to imagine the laughter. It's theatre of the mind, Mojak. All the best to you and everyone else in the industry. We'll chat soon. What a pleasure to have him as well, giving us those dates for his next gig as well, with a few of his friends in the comedy world as well. As I said